you want to go down?
Put this chair across your face. Don't disrespect.
No, you can't intimidate me.
Don't disrespect.
You can't intimidate me.
Don't disrespect.
You can't intimidate me.
Daniel, don't
You
disrespect.
think you are?
Daniel, don't disrespect. You can't put this.
The boxing world just witnessed a shocking upset at a packed Wembley Stadium as Daniel Dubois stunned Anthony Joshua, leaving fans speechless. Joshua, once unstoppable, found himself floored multiple times before Dubois landed the final crushing blow in the 5th round. Many are now questioning Joshua's future and whether this brutal defeat marks the end of his career. Could this be the last time we see the former heavyweight champion in the ring? Stick around as we break down what went wrong and what's next for both fighters after this dramatic showdown. Welcome to the channel, your go-to source for all the wildest celebrity drama and shocking Hollywood showdowns. From jaw-dropping controversies to the biggest feuds, we've got all the stories that keep the stars in the spotlight for better or worse. If you crave the truth behind the scandals and the messiest moments in fame, you're in the right place. Don't miss out, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and buckle up, because things are about to get seriously chaotic in Tinseltown. To understand the magnitude of Anthony Joshua's latest defeat, we need to remember where he started. Joshua wasn't just another fighter climbing the ranks. He was a phenomenon. His story was the stuff of Hollywood, a kid from humble beginnings, finding his way into boxing and capturing Olympic gold at the 2012 London Games. AJ quickly transitioned from Olympic success to dominating the professional boxing world, collecting belts like trophies. With victories over the likes of Wladimir Klitschko and Joseph Parker, Joshua became a unified heavyweight champion, holding multiple titles simultaneously. His mix of athleticism, power, and marketability made him a global star. He wasn't just a boxer, he was a brand. And with that came the expectations: greatness, longevity, and total domination. But here's the catch: boxing isn't a game of guarantees. The higher you climb, the further you can fall. And now, after multiple defeats, the question is whether Anthony Joshua's time at the top has finally run out. Heading into his fight with Daniel Dubois, Joshua had just come off an impressive win against UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou, a match that many considered a return to form. After back-to-back losses to Oleksandr Usyk, which stripped him of his belts, AJ had a lot to prove. His victory over Ngannou was seen as a way to rebuild his confidence. But many analysts pointed out that beating someone who primarily comes from an MM background wasn't the same as facing an elite boxer. Fans, however, were hopeful. Could this be the start of a career resurgence for Joshua? Would he prove that he still had what it takes to dominate in the boxing world? Daniel Dubois, meanwhile, was hungry and determined. At just 25, he represented the new generation of heavyweight fighters. Dubois had bounced back from a brutal loss to Joe Joyce and was eager to prove himself on the biggest stage of his career. Few expected him to actually win against Joshua, but boxing is nothing if not unpredictable. When the bell rang for round 1, most expected a cautious start. Joshua, known for his calculated approach, was likely to feel Dubois out, test his reactions, and then slowly pick him apart. And for the first few rounds, that's exactly what happened. AJ looked composed, using his reach and jab to keep Dubois at a distance. But something was off. There was a noticeable lack of aggression, perhaps a sign that Joshua was still hesitant, still carrying the weight of his losses to Usyk. Dubois, on the other hand, was brimming with confidence. As the rounds progressed, he began to land more significant shots. You could feel the momentum shift, round by round. Then, in the 5th round, the unthinkable happened. Dubois launched a powerful overhand right, catching Joshua flush on the jaw. It was a perfect shot, the kind that changes a fight and a career in an instant. AJ went down hard, and though he tried to recover, it was clear that he was out. The referee waved off the fight, and just like that, the once invincible Anthony Joshua had suffered another knockout defeat. There's no shortage of theories about why Anthony Joshua lost this fight. Some point to the physical. Was he simply out of shape or out of practice? Others believe it's all mental after his previous defeats. Perhaps Joshua's confidence has been shattered beyond repair. One common criticism of AJ's performance is his defensive strategy, or rather, the lack of it. While he's always been known for his offensive prowess, his defense has often been called into question, particularly in his losses. Against Dubois, Joshua seemed overly focused on his offensive output, neglecting the need to protect himself from the younger, hungrier fighter. Age may also be a factor. At 34, Joshua is no longer the fresh-faced athlete who could take on all comers. While he's still physically impressive, boxing is a young man's game, and fighters like Dubois, with youth on their side, are always dangerous. But perhaps the biggest factor is the psychological toll of his past losses. Joshua's defeats to Usyk, and even his earlier shock loss to Andy Ruiz Jr., may have left lasting scars. He's spoken openly about the mental struggles he's faced in recent years, and in a sport as brutal as boxing, a momentary lapse in focus can mean the difference between victory and defeat. As news of Joshua's knockout spread, the boxing world was quick to react. Social media exploded with opinions, and some of the sport's biggest names weighed in. Tyson Fury, the reigning WBC heavyweight champion, was characteristically blunt. "I've been saying it for years, AJ's overrated. The guy's all muscles and no heart." Dubois did what needed to be done. Deontay Wilder, Joshua's longtime rival, took to Twitter with a cryptic message: "The fall of the empire. Who's next?" Wilder's words seemed to suggest that he might be eyeing a fight with Dubois, or perhaps even Joshua himself. Lennox Lewis, the former undisputed heavyweight champion, offered a more measured perspective. "Boxing's a tough game. I've been there myself. Joshua needs to regroup, focus on his fundamentals, and take some time to figure out if he still has the fire. It's not over unless he says it is." For a man who was once on top of the world, this defeat raises serious questions about Anthony Joshua's legacy. Does this loss tarnish everything he's accomplished? Or is it just another bump in the road for a fighter who still has more to offer? It's undeniable that AJ's place in boxing history is already secured Olympic gold, multiple heavyweight titles, and victories over some of the biggest names in the sport. But these recent defeats will undoubtedly cast a shadow over his career. Some fans are already calling for him to retire, while others believe he can still bounce back. It's a debate that's raging across social media platforms, with some arguing that AJ's best days are behind him, and others insisting that he has the heart and determination to come back stronger than ever. On the other side of the ring, Daniel Dubois' victory has catapulted him into the spotlight. This win marks a turning point in his career. After suffering a devastating loss to Joe Joyce in 2020, many had written Dubois off as a fighter who couldn't handle the big stage. But with this knockout win over Joshua, Dubois has proven the doubters wrong. What's next for Dubois? The possibilities are endless. A rematch with Joe Joyce seems likely, especially given the history between the two. But there's also the potential for a blockbuster fight with Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk. Whatever the case, Dubois is now a major player in the heavyweight division, and fans are eager to see how far he can go. This fight doesn't just impact the careers of Joshua and Dubois, it signals a major shift in the heavyweight division. With Joshua potentially on the way out, and new stars like Dubois rising to the top, we're witnessing the end of one era and the beginning of another. Tyson Fury remains the dominant figure in the division, but even he has hinted at retirement in the near future. Meanwhile, Deontay Wilder is still in the mix, and Alexander Usyk continues to be a dangerous force. The heavyweight division is as unpredictable as ever, and that's what makes it so exciting. Could Dubois be the next long reigning champion? Or will Fury, Usyk, or even Wilder prove too much for the young star? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, heavyweight boxing is entering a new phase, and we're all here for it. The fan base is deeply divided over whether Joshua should continue fighting or hang up his gloves for good. Some argue that he's already cemented his place in history, while others believe he still has something left to give. Here's what fans are saying on social media. At Boxing Fever tweeted, "Joshua had a great run, but it's time to move on. No shame in going out on top." At Fight Fanatic wrote, "I still believe in AJ. He just needs to regroup and come back stronger. Everyone loves a comeback story." At Heavyweight King chimed in with, "Dubois is the future. Joshua's era is over." It's clear that no matter what Joshua decides, people will be watching closely. So what's your take on this explosive turn of events? Is this really the end for Anthony Joshua, or does he have one more epic comeback left in him? And how far do you think Daniel Dubois can go now that he's solidified his place among the heavyweight elite? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation is just getting started. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you never miss out on the biggest stories in the world of celebrities, sports, and entertainment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of the channel.